A 79-room mansion was once known as the Boston area's grandest estate. Hi everyone, Ken here. Hit that subscribe button and let's explore this house. In 1871, Mary Bryant Pratt was born into wealth and privilege as the granddaughter of William Fletcher Weld, a Boston shipping magnate whose fleet was the largest in America before the Civil War. This family legacy left Mary an enormous inheritance. In 1891, at age 20, she married Charles Sprague, a Harvard-educated lawyer and rising politician from a distinguished New England family. With Mary's wealth and Charles' ambition, the couple became a Gilded Age power duo in Boston's elite circles. Mary's fortune helped catapult Charles Sprague's political career. He swiftly ascended from local offices to the U.S. Congress, serving from 1897 to 1901. In fact, by the time Sprague took his congressional seat, newspapers noted he was the richest man in the House of Representatives with an estimated worth of $7 million, thanks in large part to Mary's inheritance. In the early 1890s, leveraging land she inherited from her family, the couple set out to build an extravagant country estate on the outskirts of Boston. The property, about 150 acres of rolling hills and pastures, had once been known as Faulkner Farm. On this scenic plot along Allendale Road in Brookline, the Spriggs envisioned an idyllic retreat where they could entertain and display their wealth. They broke ground on their Brookline estate in the 1890s, hiring talented designers to bring their grand vision to life. The main house began as a relatively modest 2.5-story wooden summer home built from 1894 to 1896 and designed by architect Herbert Brown of the firm Little Brown & Moore. Brown's initial design was a white colonial revival-style mansion with clapboard siding and a formal entrance court, a tasteful country house where the Spriggs took up residence around the time of its completion. However, the couple had even loftier ideas for the landscape. They engaged the famed firm, Olmsted & Elliott, headed by Frederick Law Olmsted, to lay out the grounds, aiming to transform the former farm into a gentleman's estate with picturesque gardens. Early plans, however, hit a snag. Creative differences flared between Charles Sprague and landscape architect Charles Elliott, leading to the firm's dismissal before the gardens were completed. Undeterred, the Spriggs sought a fresh approach and founded in Charles A. Platt, a Renaissance man who was both an artist and an emerging landscape designer. Platt had recently published Italian Gardens, the first English-language book on Italian Renaissance garden design, filled with his own photographs and sketches. With this expertise, Platt was the perfect choice to reinvent Faulkner Farm's landscape. Platt created a broad-grass terrace extending from the rear of the house, supported by a high stone retaining wall to level the hillside. Below this, he designed an elegant Italian garden, roughly 200 by 113 feet in size, not massive, but ample enough to impress. A series of geometric flower beds were arranged in symmetry, bordered by a curving pergola draped in vines at one end. At the opposite end, a classical casino was built. In front of the casino lay a tranquil reflecting pool, its waters mirroring the structure and the sky above. Long sightlines and alleys were established, drawing the eye to focal points like a circular tempietto perched on the estate's high point in the woodland. The result was magical. Platt's Italian-inspired garden at Faulkner Farm was a national sensation, widely acclaimed for its originality. Tragically, Charles Sprague did not live long to enjoy the estate. In 1902, while Mary and their children were traveling abroad in Egypt, Charles passed suddenly at age 44. Widowed but determined, Mary took charge of the estate's next chapter. Over the following 2 years, 1902 to 1904, she poured herself into major renovations and expansions of the mansion, transforming the home to match the grandeur of Platt's gardens. She brought Herbert Brown back out to the property to encase the wooden house in brick, completely altering its character to a unique mix of Italian Renaissance grandeur and Georgian appeal. A third floor was added, notably taller than the earlier floors, giving the mansion an imposing 3.5-story facade. Most spectacularly, Mary added a new ballroom wing on the south side of the house, replacing a portion of the original upper terrace pergola. This ballroom was one of the grandest private rooms in the Boston area, a neoclassical showpiece ending in a domed rotunda reminiscent of a European palace. Its interiors dripped with luxury. The ceiling bore allegorical murals by artist Alan Schwartz. The walls were hung with exquisite Gobelins tapestries, and 6 tall French doors opened into an immense glass conservatory filled with exotic plants. In 1904, she remarried, taking as her second husband Edward Deshawn Brandegee, a successful real estate investor. And it is this name that eventually graced her beloved estate. The new couple continued to maintain Faulkner Farm, which now informally became called the Brandegee Estate. At its height, Mary's estate sprawled over 195 acres of land, 85 in Boston and 110 in Brookline. It included elegant stables and carriage houses designed to harmonize with the main house and numerous outbuildings to support the rural pursuits. All told, Brandegee Estate was an extraordinarily large and self-sufficient domain, a private paradise reflecting Mary Brandegee's discerning taste and immense resources. Mary lived through both World Wars and the Great Depression, witnessing Boston's transformation while her estate stood as a steadfast oasis of the past. In August 1956, Mary Brandegee passed away at the age of 85. Her passing could easily have spelled the end for Brandegee Estate. Many Gilded Age mansions did not survive the mid-20th century as intact entities, but remarkably, Brandegee Estate endured, continuing to stand proudly overlooking those exquisite gardens. And with that, I'll turn it over to you. What did you think about this grand estate? Let me know down below in the comments section. And while you're there, make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an exciting episode of This House.